Hello everyone. This video is to demonstrate how the Sunny Boy 5000s that I sell will be installed or shipped and then subsequently installed on your end. It's pretty simple. This right here is a disconnect device, and you'll see right here we've got this thing. If you zoom in there, you can see through that little thing there. 0, that's off, that's on. It's currently disconnected, otherwise it'd be clunking as I do this. When in the off position, you can see that there's a hole right here, and inside there, there's a screw. And so you just need to loosen that screw so that this will come off. Once that comes off, then this whole cover lifts upwards like this, and you can see how the little stub goes through that hole. And then this whole front cover will lift off, exposing the interior. Now, with this, no one necessarily has to get into here because this is going to come completely pre-configured. This here is your solar. It's a short cable, so you can just snap on your solar. It'll be very simple. And that hooks onto these. We have the ungrounded and the grounded line here. And then you'll notice here that there are 4 circuits and there's 4 fuses. If you pull up on these little guys, there's a fuse in there. That's only if you ever need to get in here. I don't think you ever will. On this side, it is the electrical, the AC side, and you can see that I've got my green, my white, my red, and my black wire hooked onto. You can see underneath there it's L1, L2, neutral, and ground. And then this comes down, this cable and coils. Now, this particular customer wanted to have a 30-foot cable, and so I cut this one a little longer. Normally, this cable that comes out the side of the disconnect is only 10 feet. 10 feet is enough that when you set it on the side of your trailer, you basically just plug that plug into one of these 2 plugs here, and then you can mount the Sunny Island anywhere within 10 feet coming down this way, or you could have it like on the side of your house over here. You just, within 10 feet of that cord. If you are going to order a Sunny Boy from me, you can request a longer cable. I just charge you whatever the wire costs, so that's pretty easy. Anyway, so this is basically the disconnect. You'll notice these wires that are coming out here at the top. And what's interesting is they actually come out these 2 holes right here on the front of the disconnect. I'm going to show you how those connect inside the Sunny Island, or inside the Sunny Boy. All right, here is the Sunny Boy. And you'll see that there's these 2 larger knobs coming up here. If you look down underneath here, you can see that they have a spot for the wiring to go up inside those. And then you just can cut this little circle out right there, and then the wire will come through that. The AC is on this side, the DC is on this side, and there's only 3 circuits on this Sunny Boy, on the older style Sunny Boys, but it doesn't really matter because the wire's rated for I think 20 amps or whatever, and really if you look here, I don't know if you can see, but there's only 1 charge controller on these, even though they've got 3 spots where you could have 3 parallel arrays. You don't necessarily need to have all 3 wires come into here. Just so that, this could be done on another video, but on the side of the Sunny Boy over here, you have the model number, the serial number, the date it was manufactured. Now this is manufactured 2012, but this is a brand new Sunny Boy. It's never been used. In fact, all of my Sunny Boys are brand new. I have a whole bunch of them on the side of my house, and then I have more in my garage. Anyway, I'm going to talk about this right here. Most people are going to be hooking up the 240 volt system, and then you'll see right there it is 5,000 watts, is the max output. And then down here, you have 600 volts DC, but that's the higher voltage on your DC from all your panels that you add up. And then here it's 250 to 480. So whatever panels you connect to the Sunny Boy, you need to have at least 250 volts in order for it to start harvesting, and you don't want to exceed 480 volts. And then down here, you'll notice that it is 21 amps. And so the 21 amps gives you the ability to put 2 arrays in parallel. Okay? Now, again, it depends on your panels. Some panels these days are 10 amps, and some panels these days are, you know, like the older panels are 8 amps, and some of them even go as high as 13 amps. So obviously you have to buy the panels that will match this amperage rating the best you can, and you want to stay under that voltage right there. So, all right, so in a nutshell, this right here, let me take this cover down, that is your mounting bracket. Everyone that orders a Sunny Boy will get a mounting bracket, and you can see you got all those holes along the top. So if you're going to mount this on your wall, you can mount it wherever you want, get it nice and level. But you can see this ridge on the top, this guy right here. I'll show you. That takes the majority of the weight of the Sunny Boy. And then you have 2 holes, one there and one there, that actually hook onto this right here. So it basically, you have 2 bolts that will just secure the Sunny Boy onto this mounting bracket, and the majority of the weight is all distributed here at the top. I'll show you on the back of a Sunny Boy. Here's another Sunny Boy over here. I'll just show you here. Be easier than trying to pause the video. You can see right here on the back, that, look at that. It's like this big alcove. Anyway, the mounting bracket goes up inside here, and so this panel basically holds the Sunny Boy. And those things weigh 140 pounds. It's going nowhere. So anyway, just the 2 screws is what fixes it into position. And then at the bottom of the mounting bracket, you'll see that there's these 2 additional holes. So let me line this up. So assume this Sunny Boy is on top of this guy right here. You'll notice that the bottom of the mounting bracket is hanging out below the Sunny Island. And just for the sake of argument, I think I will just overlay these 2 real quick so you can better see how this will fit. Okay, so I've put the mounting bracket on the back and actually affixed the screw there and also over here. And now at the bottom, you can see how this is hanging down right here. And what's interesting is this kind of, it's loose. I don't know if you can see how that moves because it just hangs against the wall. But anyway, this is going to mount directly under there, and you can see this, you have this screw and this screw here. And I'll go ahead and hook this up so you can see what it's going to look like. Stand by. And I just took a minute and just cut the top of that little circle out right there. I left a little bit on this side because this is the solar cables, and they don't take as much room as the AC line. I'll show you what it looks like installed now. Okay, you can see how I pulled from this lower junction box the wires that go up through those little holes there. They line up perfectly, and they come through these, and then this I'll connect here in a minute onto the appropriate lines, and same thing here, I'll connect this on here as well. And I'll show you what it looks like when it's fully connected on the next portion. Stand by. Okay, so here is the AC wires. White is neutral. You can see the N underneath. Red I connect as L2. Black I connect as L1, and ground. Now I don't actually know why they have these 2 different types of grounds here. I'm sure there's a difference why one is circled and one is not. But when you look at the motherboard here, there's no, like, they're actually connected. So I don't think there is a difference. But anyway, might be nice to know if anyone happens to know why there's two different ground signals. Anyway, but it does seem to be joined right here. Now the weird thing is, if you notice down here, we have a red and a black wire coming in, and the black is the grounded, and then the red is the ungrounded. The thing that gets a little weird is the color of wire that they chose to use right here, which is white and black. And white tends to be more neutral, and black is the live wire, which kind of follows this norm over here. And that's why I did L1, because when you're wiring, usually you'll have a green, a black, and a white, and the red is kind of the auxiliary one for the 240 volt, and that's why you have two of those. Anyway, back to this one. The white essentially is the ground, or the neutral, and so it goes on the negative, and the black is the red wire, and it comes up and it goes on to the positive. It's a little confusing because down here black is the grounded negative wire. Anyway, that's something that just make sure as you're paying attention. The good news is if you get that backwards and you swap these by accident and you turn this on, it doesn't damage the device, which is, you know, it just doesn't turn on. So anyway, I'll put the covers back on real quick, and then we'll actually boot this device up because it's all wired at this point. I might as well show everyone this thing turning on and having it start harvesting power. Okay, so I'll pause it. Okay, you can see now what it looks like. Now imagine this just on your wall. You have your PV wire coming out here. This is connected to my test station. This is coming up coiled over here. I do not have this plugged in yet to the solar trailer because I wanted to show you what happens when you turn this on. Now I'm going to go from the 0 to the 1. And when I do that, the Sunny Boy will power up. And you can see the lights on the right hand side. And let's see if we can get into, can you see that display? Anyway, it's telling you the version of the Sunny Boy. And then it starts telling you, now right there, that disturbance FAC BFR, that is telling you that there's no grid present. And so because I have not connected this to a grid yet, in this case the solar trailer, there's nothing there. Now when you knock, if you see this little symbol there, it's like a little hand knocking. See if I can get the display where you can see it change. So if you just knock on this display, see how it's changing with each knock. Anyway, that's how you go through the menu, and you just literally knock like that. Pretty crazy. Now let's go ahead and plug this in, and that disturbance is going to go away now. So drop this down here. Pull this over here. Let's see, there we go. Now that I've plugged that in, it is now getting grid from the cabinet, runs back to the Sunny Boy, and the disturbance should be gone now. It's just too bad I have too much of a glare there. Grid type, there it is, 240 volts, tells you what grid line 1 and line 2 are, and click on it, and that's so right now I have 304 volts with 0 watts. And the 0 watts is indicative that it's not harvesting anything, but the voltage, it tells you how many volts are coming in from the PV. And then I don't know if it said waiting there a minute ago. Let's see if I can get back to it. That's 0. Right there, waiting. So it takes about 5 minutes for it to actually click over. And while it's waiting, you'll see that the green light is flashing. I should have shown this before. Actually, you may go back in the video and you might be able to see it. But on the disturbance, one of these is red, and I think it's flashing because it's saying that there's no grid. So here in about 3 or 4 minutes, and I don't know if I want to sit and let the video go that long, you'll hear a click inside of the Sunny Boy. And when that click occurs, it will then go solid green. I'll show that later. and then it will actually start harvesting power right there. You'll have watts on top as it's pushing that into the sunny islands. And then I'll actually show you something else that's really cool too once it actually engages. So I'll pause the video for a few minutes while we wait. Okay, it just clicked. And I'll come down here and now you can see what it's going to say here. Power AC is... Oh, we just missed it. Let's come over here. Click. Okay, we're at 31 volts and it'll slowly start climbing. So it's 299 volts. It drops when it starts harvesting power. Now we're up to almost 2,000 watts. It just kind of eases it in over time, which is great. Let's go a little bit further. 2,052 watts. And what this is doing right now is it's generating AC power, and it's injecting it directly into the solar trailer. Now I'm hoping, not right now because my air conditioning units are on, but right here you can see how there is a little arrow from the battery to the load. Okay, the reason like that's showing that power is coming from the battery to the load, and then if I was connected to the grid or had the generator running, there'd be a G just on the left hand side of the battery with an arrow going to the battery, and then when my air conditioning unit will shut off, which I think it will cycle here in a minute, we will see an arrow from the L going back to the battery. It's really awesome when that happens. I'll pause the video. Maybe I'll just go shut the AC unit off so you can see that. Okay, so my air conditioning unit finally shut off, cycled down, which is great. Now notice the L and see how there's an arrow going back to the battery. So cool. So right now what's happening is the Sunny Boy is feeding electricity into the solar trailer. The Sunny Islands are detecting that there's an excess of power, and it's going to charge my battery with that excess power. Now if this, let's say the batteries actually get to 100% and there's no more power, but it's a nice sunny day, it's so amazing how it does this, but it will shift the frequency of the grid up to 61 hertz. And when it goes to 61 hertz, that's when the Sunny Boy says, oh, you don't want all the power, and it'll start derating itself between 61 hertz and 62 hertz. It will gradually ramp itself down. It's really awesome. But anyway, this is how this functions safely, and I just think that's so cool right there. Okay. Anyway, that is the Sunny Boy, and these are available for $1,500, which includes the cutoff. These cutoff things are like almost $250. They're expensive. And then it's $2.50 extra per foot if you want longer cabling. I think the longest I've done was 50 feet. If we go more than 50 feet, I might have to increase the gauge. I'll have to check the amperage. This is only going to ever output 5,000 watts total. And so the gauged wire coming from this doesn't need to be as significantly thick as the normal wire that might go into the 50 amp plug. And then when you shut this off, you simply click that to off, and what that did was it immediately shut this off. There was a click. I don't know if you heard the click. Now it's blinking green because it's not a solid green. It's not going to be producing power. And if I go to the, you'll see the, oh, I wish it wasn't so shaded. Anyway, it finally powered off. It takes that long to shut off. But I was going to show you the PAC number, which is power AC. So now it's powering down, it's done, it's completely off. And if I were to turn this back on again, it will power up instantly. but it's going to take 5 minutes before it'll start feeding power into the grid again. All right, everybody. I hope this is informative for others out there. I have a different type of Sunny Boy. It's the one that I have on my trailer right now. This one, you can see. Let me see if I can zoom in. This is there's like 3 or 4 newer models even beyond this one. This one has 3 charge controllers, independent charge controllers in it. It's kind of nice, but this one has a limit of 10 amps per charge controller. So you end up wanting to use the older style panels for this guy. But the cool thing, if you notice down here at the bottom right there, this is a switch. And if you wire this up properly, let's say the solar trailer is not there, or you had to take the solar trailer out for repairs or something, you can flip that switch up and it will give you up to 2,000 watts AC in an off-grid environment. So as long as you don't consume more than 2,000 watts, this can give you just a little bit of power. This model here. These models do not have that capability, but I like these ones because they're just like tanks. But you can have a higher amperage over here. So you can actually get 21 amps AC, or sorry, 21 amps DC right there. So these can tolerate better panels, more panels in more configurations that might be more helpful. But it also, let me zoom back out because that looks terrible. Anyway, these weigh 140 pounds. I think this one weighs like 80 pounds, 70 pounds, so it's a little bit less. But anyway, anyone interested, reach out to me. Best way to reach me would be on my Facebook. But you could try to leave a comment in YouTube. It's not very good. Shoot, I'll just give my cell number. It's 801-372-3717. Again, that's 801-372-3717. You can text me that number and I should be able to respond and get you, an estimate on shipping. Unfortunately, these things weigh so much, it's hard to ship them. I actually have to ship it to, this one is almost 150 pounds. It has to go as its own because that maxes out the weight limit. And then I ship this one separate. And that's why people will have to actually connect it on their end, because I can't ship it together without it going over the limits of shipping through residential, like USPS, or not USPS, UPS and FedEx. All right, everyone. I hope you enjoy these videos. We'll leave your comments or reach out to me directly. Thanks, everyone. Bye.